This is the first of a series of training videos for the new online Tax Processors Plus software. This video is to just act as a real basic introduction to the platform, expose you to the navigation, the ease of use, and just really how to navigate in and out of the tax software, what you're going to be seeing, so it doesn't come as a shock to you. This is by far and away the easiest software that I've ever used, and I think you'll be very impressed with it. Again, it's 100% online. You don't have to install any software in your office, and you can access it at any time from anywhere, from any mobile device that has internet connectivity. So I've created a demo login for you guys just to jump in and play with. Again, you can see up top the URL to access the website is taxplus.cloudtaxoffice.com. The preparer name is Tax Plus, and the password is Tax Test. So I'm going to go ahead and log in here to my office, and this is what you're going to see. Now I'm logged in as a manager, so there will be different permission sets that have different capabilities, things that you will be able to do and have access to, and some other things that you won't have access to. So the core functionality that is in the office is, first of all, obviously creating a new tax return. So everything's clearly labeled. Starting right up at the top is start a new tax return. Then you've got your client list. So any returns that you've already created that you've e-filed or are in process getting prepared to e-file, they will be under the client list. You just hit select, you'll see them there. Configuration, we'll get this set up at the beginning of the season. You get all your preparers, your ERO information, which will already be in there, your billing setup, all of that information's in there. Reports, pretty self-explanatory. Printing checks, and then if you had a prior year tax return to do, you'll have 2 years worth of prior year access. You'll have the current tax season, and then you'll have 2012 and 2011 also. But we're in the 2012 software for tax year 2012, I should say, and we're going to do a new tax return. So what do? You click select. It reminds you about the 7216 consent to use IRS requirement. Getting them to sign that beforehand is best practice. And then it's going to take us into creating the tax return, which is simply double entering the taxpayer's social security number twice. So we're going to do 888-555555. And then we click continue. Just to point out a couple of things. If you are Spanish speaking or you have Spanish speaking preparers, you can convert the web page to Espanol just by clicking on Si habla Español, and supposedly it converts it to very nice Spanish, and everything's in Spanish now. So I'm going to convert it back to English because I don't speak or read Spanish, and then we're going to put in our 888 social again because it hadn't saved that information when we changed the language. It zeroed it out for us. The other things to point out, actually I'm going to do that later. I'm going to jump through a couple of navigational things here in the next screen. As you can see, the page is laid out just like you're used to reading. Everything works from left to right. So under our major sections, basic information, federal sections, state section, it moves you from left to right. Below that, it drops you down to the subsections, which under basic information is filing status, personal information, and dependents. So when we get to the federal section, you're going to have income, adjustments, deductions, those type of items. Moving further down the page, when we get to the actual data entry portion or data entry section, you have two options as far as how to proceed. You can either basically do it yourself, I know what I'm doing, or in every section you will also have a wizard to assist you. Now the filing status wizard is obviously just to help you figure out what's the appropriate filing status. If you get into income, you'll have an income wizard. If you get into deductions, you'll have a deductions wizard. Schedule C, you'll have a Schedule C wizard. So basically it's going to help you right on through it. But we know that we're filing this person head of household, so I'm just going to click head of household and continue. It's going to take me again to the next step from left to right. I'm going to put in my personal information here. Date of birth, you can just enter it and tab 1975. Type in sales, and we're going to click right on down the page. 333 West Street, and 37201 is our zip code. Automatically pulls in my city and state for me. If you did have somebody that was a full-time student, you can check right there. If they were blind or they had died, you're going to go ahead and check these boxes. If they were military, you can check that information, and it expands your options under all of this information there. We're going to put in a phone number. Oops, 615. And click continue. What you'll notice also at the bottom, I failed to point it out, was it gives you the last page you were in down here at the bottom, or continue. So now it's asking me, do you have dependents? It also gives me additional details on what a dependent is. So basically the IRS explanation for a dependent. And then the question again, do you have any dependents or qualifying persons to claim on your tax return? No or yes. I'm going to say yes. We're going to have one dependent on this tax return, and they're going to be pulls the last name forward from the primary that I put in. Oops. Sorry. And we're going to say they were born in 2010. Social Security number looks something like that. Tab to the next field. I just arrow down. First one there is daughter. And then you go on down. You've got a big long list of potential relationships. We're going to stick with daughter. Now, if this dependent was a full-time student, you click on this box right here. It drops down. What school did they go to? If they were disabled, you click right there. Drops down. What's their disability type? And from this section, we're just going to click continue. And it's going to jump us right on to, we have a bad social, which this acts as a perfect segue into how will we fix errors or issues in the program. Well, just like this, it's going to pop up, not let you leave the page until we've resolved that particular error. So let's see if just changing one character will do it for us. Let's change one more just to be safe. But those are how your errors are going to pop up. Very simple, allow you to clean those up very quickly. And that was acceptable. If we needed to add in an additional dependent, you go ahead and click add here. You need to edit the existing dependent or delete it. You're going to go ahead and do that there. And that's true for everything as far as the flow of adding additional forms when you're in them. This is the same way it acts with the 1099s, the W-2s, all of that information. It acts the same way. When I click continue here, we've completed this basic information section, so it's going to take me to the federal section. And just to point out, you don't have to use the continue button in all instances. You can jump around and just click on federal, and within the federal portion of the return, you can click on the subsection. So you don't have to follow the exact process that the program's presenting to you. We'll click continue here, and I'll show you what I mean. So first of all, we have three different ways to enter in our forms. For our income section. You can see I'm under income here. If I wanted to go to deductions, I can just click on deductions. I don't have to do income before deductions or deductions after income, or however you want to operate. You get a lot of flexibility. Again, we have the guide me income, basically the wizard. You have the enter myself, which means I know what I'm doing. And then you have your form number search over here on the right hand side. So if I wanted just to click in W-2, I could just directly click on this and it would take me right into a W-2. So why don't I do that real quick, and then we'll use the enter myself and the wizard here in some other sections. So I just double click on the W-2 and it takes me right into my W-2. And we'll enter in an EIN number, and we'll say that this is for Tax Pro Plus. 233 Money Street, and 37201 pulls in my city and state. This individual made 18,500 and had 2150 in withholdings. And we're going to go ahead and say that we had some elected deferrals here as well. And we had $1,500 in elected deferrals. From there, I'm just going to click continue. If you did have state-based wages, you can go ahead and put those down here, but we're going to skip that for now. I'll show you how to add a state here in a moment, but we're not going to do a state on this tax return just for time's sake as an introduction. Now from here, you can see it automatically calculates my refund on the right-hand side. I can also click back into my income, or I could just type over here 1099, pulls up all my 1099s. I can type in Schedule C or Schedule, and it pulls my Schedule C. But what I'm going to do here, I'm going to click back to my income, and I'm going to click on the Enter Myself portion just to show you what that looks like real quick. And the way it breaks it down is basically line 7 through line 21 of our 1040. It's got our wages, state and local, interest, dividends, unemployment compensation, profit and loss from a business. Now, profit and loss from a business is our Schedule C. I'm going to click into that just for a second and show you how it breaks out very nicely, very succinctly, very easy to navigate. So the first way that it starts you at basically the top of the Schedule C, asks you for the business name, and you can leave that blank if you don't have a business name set up. You can leave this blank if it's the same as the social. You can leave the address blank if they're working out of their home. The only thing that you really have to fill in is either the business code or the business description. But we're going to say that we do have a business name, I guess I've already used Landscaper Plus. And we're going to say that we are in lawn care. And I'm going to click continue. And again, if we had an error or there was something that we had to input there, it would have given us the big nasty red flag right in the middle saying, hey, you might want to put this in. Now, questions about operations of your business, you don't have to really enter there because it's already filled out correctly. In 99% of the circumstances, cash is accounting, cost is your inventory, and did you materially participate? Yes, I did. And you can just basically continue on from there. Under income, very simply, you click into income, put in your gross receipts or sale, and apparently I've used 3,500 before, and maybe we had 1,500 in other income. Go ahead and click continue, and it gives us that total. You're going to see it automatically adjusts our federal refund because we haven't put in our expenses. So I'm going to go to my general expenses now, general expenses, skipping over cost of goods sold, assuming we're not carrying inventory, and put in my advertising at $350, my insurance at $350, my office expenses at $1250, and we know how to enter expenses, so I'm going to leave it at that. Click continue. Now, our car and truck expense and depreciation expense are broken out into separate categories, as well as our business use of home and other expenses. So I'm going to do car and truck expense because that's commonly used. I'm going to put in a truck and 0111 of 12. And business miles, we drove it for, 7,500, 150 commuting, 150 other. And of course we have written evidence of everything. We had another car we could use. Was this one available? Yes, it was. Click continue. And it adds it right in there for you. If you had another vehicle to put in, you can go ahead and click add, or not, you just click continue. Depreciation is very much the same in the sense that it's incredibly easy. I click into depreciation, and I click into assets, and put in the description of the asset. cost $1,200. Percentage business use 100. Do we want to 179 it? No. Prior year special depreciation, we didn't have any of this We're just going to pick our depreciation method. And check. And we're just going to click continue. See if we missed anything. I don't think we did. And it will automatically calc out our depreciation for us. Very, very simple. From here, just to speed things up a little bit, since this is just to act as an introduction, I'm just going to go into deductions real quick, show you how that breaks out. You have, again, the wizard or enter myself. I'm going to click enter myself because I know what I'm doing. And then I've got my standard deductions, my itemized deductions, credits menu, and basically all these other subcategories. I just want to go to my itemized deductions and jump into something that is commonly used, like gifts to charity, paying your tithe, or donating non-cash gifts to Salvation Army, whatever the case may be. I'm going to say that we're doing a cash gift to charity. And the charity name was church, which is already there. And description, we're just going to say that it was our tithe. The amount was $1,250, and it was donated on 12/12 of 2012. Click continue. And we're going to say that, just for the sake of time, that's all for our federal tax return. I'm going to click into state tax return, but we're not going to add the state to this return. Just to show you that you can add, would you like to add a state tax return? If you click yes, it will basically bring up a map and a drop down. And you can add in as many states as you want. There is no limitation to your state e-filing. So you can put on 20 states if you got a truck driver in here. We're going to say no to this question because we don't need to add a state tax return. And it's going to jump us right on to the next process here. This is a summary page. As you may have noticed, we haven't done our EIC yet, but it won't let us out of this tax return without doing it. So I believe that's the next page we're coming to, is our EIC page. Yes, it is. It's our EIC checklist. We have our notes over here on the right hand side, which I think I failed to point out earlier on. You can use these notes for anything you want. They're great. You can color code them. You can do whatever you want with them. You can put in the names. You can attach them to specific pages. It's a pretty versatile tool. Very good to track stuff. But I want to come over here. Was the taxpayer and non-resident alien part of the year? No, they weren't. No. And I'm just going to arrow through this real quick. We all know how to fill this out. Did you keep the records found below? Yes, I did. Who provided the information? Taxpayer or spouse? What did they bring in? Their business license. This is for our Schedule C. What documents did they bring in? For EIC, does the child qualify another person for EIC? No, they don't. It's my kid and only my kid. School records, whatever. Go ahead and select a couple of those. I'm going to click continue. This is if we want to provide any miscellaneous statements. Usually don't use that very often. So we're going to continue through here. The last page is basically our e-file page. How does the customer want their tax return back? What form, put in our fees, all that good stuff. So under federal return type, this is talking about our disbursement method. Are we printing a check for them? Are they getting it from the IRS? Are we doing a bank product debit card? What are we doing? I'm going to say that this is a ERC check, which means we're giving it to them in the office. This is their gross refund amount. Doesn't take into account your prep fees. So just wanted to point that out. The $6,300 is gross refund, not net. If we had a billing schedule already in here, the billing would pull forward. The electronic filing fee would show up. I hadn't set that up here in this demo platform, but maybe I'll go back and do that here in a minute. I'm going to go next. This is, have you got the 7216 signed? And would you like to receive a text message that'll notify your customer that the check has been printed? So, Mr. Taxpayer, would you like me to automatically send you a text message when I print your check? And all that you have to do is change this to yes, put in their cell phone number, their carrier, and check this box. And the system will automatically send them a text message and an email, if you have their email in here as well, when their check's been printed. I'm going to click next. This asks me what was the ID type given to you to validate the taxpayer, and we're going to say it was driver's license, and the issue date was 10/10 of 2005 and 10/10 of 2017, and we're in Tennessee. And I click next, and I'm going to click save. And that's actually as far as we're going to go in this video. The last page of the e-file screen is simply checking the box, going through your printing and printing your printing the selected items. What do you want to do? You want to print the 1040, the state and the bank application, just the 1040, and then clicking the transmit button. We're going to have a separate process or separate video on the e-filing process, which is very simple, very streamlined, and also how to use the client list, how to go and do configuration, reports, and check printing. So we're going to be covering those in subsequent videos. Just wanted to really give you a high-level overview of the software as an initial introduction, and look forward to presenting you more. Thank you very much.